Good morning and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I've got two things planned. First off, I'm going to light the fire. Now the bugs are starting to get a bit frisky this morning, so it's going to be a quick affair. And a friend of mine has sent me these fire lighters. He had the idea from another YouTube channel, and I will post a link in the description box. And they are basically the byproduct from making pine resin glue. I haven't watched the other guy's video, sorry, I haven't watched it. Basically, when you're making pine resin glue, and I haven't done it for a while, but you get a lot of nasty, yucky bits which you can't do anything with. And that's what these are. These are, by the looks of it, bits of sawdust, bits of twigs, wrapped up in pine resin balls. Now he did tell me you can light them with a ferro rod, but I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, no, not the pure one, but this one has got cotton wool pads wrapped around it, so this one should light with a ferro rod. I got a few twigs knocking around here, and byproduct from knife reviews, I've got a pile of split wood. A quick affair, we'll try it out. Main part of the video will be reviewing this knife, and this is the mini tracker from Boker. A friend of mine sent me this. He bought it for his daughter, but she had absolutely zero interest in playing with it, so he sent it to me. Give it a review, he said. Thank you very much, I will. Straight out of the box, it's blunt. Let's see what we can do with it. That was easy, and it looks like the pitch is caught straight away because I've got some black smoke coming out of it. Well, I'm going to leave that burn for about 30 seconds before I put anything on. Well, that was unbelievably easy. Fair play. That's a good bit of kit. That is a very good emergency fire lighter. Granted, it's a nice day. It's dry. I think it rained last night, but it didn't really matter. That's an excellent little fire lighter. Nothing else I can say about that. So the link will be in the description box of the video of the guy who made them originally. That's burning. I'm going to attempt to light this with a ferro rod, but I'm not holding out much hope. Now my pal John, who supplied this, told me that these burn for 8 minutes. See if it will burn for 8 minutes. 25 to 10 I lit it. I think I better put it on the ground. Check out that black smoke. Well, it did light with a ferro rod, but I did have to break it up. It was a bit of work, but it did go up. Wow, there's a lot of black smoke coming out of that. While that's burning, I'm going to get my kettle on. It just went out. 7 minutes. Well, that's not bad at all, 7 minutes. I've just broken it up now. I think I'm going to try and light it with a lighter. It still had a bit of life left in it. I just needed to break it up. Well, my kettle's boiled. I'm going to have a cup of tea. And then I'll tell you at the end of it how long it lasted with the extra bit of a breakup. But then if you've covered it in sticks and splits and things, you're not going to be able to break it up anyway. But I think after 7 minutes, you're going to have lit the fire, definitely. Awesome. But unless you're going to be making pine pitch glue, it's a lot of work for a fire lighter. Now, my super duper wax fire lighters I used to use, they'd last 5 minutes, but the flame was a lot bigger, a lot more intense. But then I was using wax. Well, after I broke it up, it lasted another few minutes. It was 10 minutes in total. That's not bad at all. But I was thinking to myself, if you didn't make a ball, if you made a sausage, then you could snap it in half and you'd have 2 parts burning. It'd be easier to get at the middle to light it with a ferro rod, and you'll get more flame, more bang for your buck, so to say. So yeah, I think if I was making them, I'd make them sausage shaped. But saying that, worked really well. I think the cotton swab stuck to it was a very good idea. It lit so easy then with the ferro rod. That was a plus. So I think if you wanted to go down the, retro bushcrafty look and you didn't want to put a cotton swab on it, I think perhaps making them sausage shaped may be a good idea. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm going to finish my tea now. I'm going to get on with this knife. Looking forward to playing with this thing too. Here's the knife in its sheath. Now it comes with, basically, looks like Boker's own tech lock, and that's a bit of a scout carry going on. There's plenty of holes in it, so if you wanted to carry it that way or that way, it's doable. One thing, this doesn't come with regular screw holes, so if you want to adjust that to fit your belt, you're going to need one of these torque gadgets, torque screws, to move it. Now that's not going to fit on my belt's too wide. But I'm not going to walk around here with it on my belt anyway. Main body of the Kydex sheath, it's a good fit. But it could do with a bigger thumb ramp. It works, but I think a larger one, which isn't a lot more work, would probably benefit. Yes. So that's my opinion on the sheath. It's a good fit. I like Kydex. I prefer Kydex to plastic. You know, like the Secure X ones. The Falcon and Square ones, I'm not a big fan of them. But they work, and that's the main thing. Yes, bigger ramp on there. And I think they need to put some regular screws in there instead of the torque, because who carries a torque? Yeah, there we are. Right, I'm going to process some wood and make some shavings. Now the regular tracker, the tops tracker, I've had 2 of them over the years and I just don't get on with them. I just don't like them, and that's a fact. I can't see this being any good at chopping. It's far too light. We'll give it a go. It's not going to work, but we'll give it a go. But I think because of the thin grind, maybe okay for cross battening. Well, it's actually a little bit better than I expected. But you really need to hold your hand down here, and I think some form of lanyard. Now, the DBK boys in quite an old video showed their lanyard extension, and that'd probably be a good idea, or my regular idea of just one that's big enough to get 2 fingers through. So it does chop. It's not going to chop through that. Well, it will. It'll just take forever. So I'm going to try a bit of cross battening. Well, I've got to say, that was excellent for cross battening. That didn't take long at all. Yeah, I thought the grind be good for it. No major chips or anything. Well, that's pretty good. No complaints with that either. Yeah, I'm actually getting to like this. Make some finer stuff. Well, you probably noticed I've only used that edge for the chopping, the cross battening and the splitting. That's all I've used. Haven't used that edge. As I said earlier, it is blunt, but let's try and make some shavings. blunt knife, shavings. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it's actually pretty good. Now, I have noticed watching other people, other videos with a tracker knife, they actually make some really nice shavings with that curl. Well, I'm going to give that a go. I found a nice piece of dead standing on my way in, and it's about 4 foot long. I'm going to try it with that. With a blunt knife. Yes, I did have to put a bit of force in it to get them, but it worked. I'll take them off now, light them with a ferro rod. And that is one failing of this knife. It's got nowhere to light the ferro rod. I'm impressed. I've got to be honest, I'm impressed with that knife. Well, well. If it arrived sharp, with a divot or a clean piece to scrape your ferro rod, it would be a fantastic knife. I'm incredibly shocked how good that knife actually was. Far better than the large tracker, which is just basically a cumbersome brute with a saw that doesn't want to work. Yes, as long as you know its limitations, it's too light for chopping. It cross-battened, excellent. It battened down, excellent. It shaved really well, considering it was blunt. Good knife. And I'd like to thank one of my viewers for that tip. Strange I hadn't thought of it. But I had a comment saying, why don't you cut a V in that log you're sawing on? Stop it rolling around. Thank you, my friend. Right, so standard feather sticking on a nice piece of dry wood with a blunt blade does not work. But standing up with a lot of force works a treat. Now I have got a small diamond horn with me, and I'm going to attempt to put a bit more of an edge on that curve. Nah, it needs to go on a nice round slipstone. That just didn't do enough. It's too fine, it's only a horn, it's not a sharpener. Just for me to demonstrate how blunt this knife actually is, Yes, it's sharper there now. I'm not going to run my finger on that because it is sharper. Pretty blunt. But it's still cross-patterned and split just fine. Not that you need a razor edge to split, you don't. Brute force. Bit of carving. Got my old friend. At some point this is going to be up to you in notches. Well, I'm going to attempt to carve another notch in it. No, it's carving that way just fine, but trying to go across the grain, it's just too blunt. I'll be here for a bloody week. No, it's far too blunt. And as we all know, a blunt tool is a dangerous tool. Now we leave that there. Right, to conclude, it's a comfortable knife. Cross battens well. That edge is excellent for making shavings while you're standing up, but the knife is too blunt to do anything delicate. It needs a proper sharpen. It'll chop a bit. What I attempted to chop earlier was probably a bit on the big side, but if you just cut in green standing sticks for pot hangers or whatever you cut them for, it'll chop just fine. As a survival tool, yes, definitely light the fire with this. Improvements: sharp for a start, and an area to light your ferro rod. I'd probably take the paint off there and a little bit on the sides, and you could use that whole area for a ferro rod scraper and basically a wood scraper. I don't like coatings, as you regular viewers know. I can't stick coatings, but it keeps the production costs down. Yeah, not a bad knife at all. So get rid of the coating, sharpen it up, sharp spine there. Alternatively, get a little holder on the sheath for a ferro rod and scraper. I'm not keen on that, I think it's too fiddly. Apart from that, I'm impressed. I don't know how much they are, probably over £100, but you don't get a lot for £100 these days anyway. Yeah, I have no problems with that knife, apart from the fact it's blunt. Massive thanks to Jonathan Duval for sending me this knife. I've really enjoyed playing with it. Also, big thanks to John Turner for sending me the firelighters, and he sent me quite a lot of them, so I'll be keeping the rest of them for the nasty weather. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your comments, I appreciate your views, I certainly appreciate a thumbs up. Until the next time, ta-ra. If it arrived with an area to put a ferro rod on, I'll start that again because that doesn't make sense either. I haven't got to make any more super duper firelighters for a long time. I've still got quite a lot of them. Cheating really. I'd rather prep the wood, but when needs must. So thanks guys, appreciate it.